You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900.
Thank you for joining us here on News 25 and Ace Country Radio and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices on this Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. Good evening. I'm Chris Palermo. Here's what's happening. A two-vehicle injury accident happened earlier today, Wednesday, near Route 160 in Basin and Pahrump. One person was transported to Desert View Hospital, and Christy Willis has the story.
Jason Ernest of Mount West Lawyers. Don't be bullied by insurance companies. Call me, 775-727-9500.
A two-vehicle crash occurred late this morning at the intersection of Basin Avenue and Highway 160 in Pahrump. On March 4th, emergency crews responded to the scene after reports of a collision involving a silver Subaru and a silver Honda. According to witness statements, the Subaru was traveling northbound on Highway 160 as the traffic light was turning yellow. At the same time, the Honda, which was traveling eastbound on Basin Avenue, attempted to make a left-hand turn onto Highway 160, striking the Subaru. The impact caused the Subaru to leave the roadway and come to rest in a ditch on the east side of Highway 160, while the Honda came to a stop on East Basin Avenue. At this time, it has not been confirmed whether the Honda had the right-of-way at the time. One person was transported to Desert View Hospital for further observation. Traffic in the area was diverted while authorities investigated the crash, and the Department of Public Works completed repairs on traffic signals. The crash remains under investigation.
More news now. It was rather contentious yesterday at the Board of County Commissioners meeting in Pahrump. The issue of expanding the International Property Maintenance Code countywide was taken up, and the public commentary came in fast and furious. Samantha Roberts has this report.
Following a packed public meeting Tuesday, the Nye County Board of Commissioners voted unanimously to reject a proposal that would have expanded the International Property Maintenance Code, also known as the IPMC, across all of Nye County. The vote came after dozens of residents spoke during public comment, raising concerns about property rights and government oversight. In the end, commissioners voted 5-0 to reject the bill, preventing the code from being expanded beyond its current boundaries.
We're going to call for the vote. Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Oskovich, aye.
Jabor is aye.
Jabor is aye.
Aye.
Bain is aye. That carries 5-0. Thank you all for your patience on that.
The International Property Maintenance Code is not new to Nye County. Records show the code was adopted by the Board of County Commissioners in 2019 as part of an ordinance updating the county's building and safety codes, including the 2018 editions of several International Code Council standards. The regulations currently apply primarily within the Pahrump Regional Planning District, where building permits and inspections are enforced. News 25 spoke with Commissioner Deborah Strickland, who says county staff has now been directed to begin drafting a new bill that would remove the IPMC from Pahrump entirely. If that happens, property maintenance standards currently enforced under the code would no longer apply locally. That could mean fewer regulations on issues such as property upkeep, structural maintenance requirements, and certain nuisance violations tied to property conditions. Supporters of removing the code say it would reduce government regulation on private property, lower compliance costs for homeowners, and better reflect Nye County's rural lifestyle, where many residents prefer fewer restrictions on how they maintain their land. Opponents argue that property maintenance codes help prevent unsafe buildings, protect property values, and address blighted properties that could negatively impact surrounding neighborhoods. Any proposal to remove the code would still require public hearings and a vote by the Board of County Commissioners before becoming law. For now, the International Property Maintenance Code remains in effect in the Pahrump Regional Planning District, while the rest of Nye County remains outside those regulations. News 25 will continue to follow this developing story.
And Nevada State Police, in conjunction with federal agencies, caught up with a previously convicted man that escaped law enforcement's supervision. He's now back in the Silver State to face charges.
A convicted sex offender who absconded from supervision is now back in custody in Nevada following a joint investigation by state and federal authorities. According to officials, Jonas Ortiz was arrested on November 13, 2025 in San Francisco, California by the U.S. Marshals Service. Ortiz was originally convicted on March 22nd of 1990 of sexual assault of a minor under the age of 14 and first-degree kidnapping. He was sentenced to 60 months to life in prison. Authorities say a joint fugitive investigation conducted by the Nevada State Police Division of Parole and Probation's Warrants and Extraditions Unit and the U.S. Marshals Service Nevada Violent Offenders Task Force in Reno ultimately led to his capture. On March 2, 2026, Nevada State Police officers extradited Ortiz from California back to Nevada. He is currently being held at the Washoe County Jail. Officials say the U.S. Marshals Nevada Violent Offenders Task Force brings together state, local, and federal agencies to locate and arrest dangerous fugitives.
Volunteers are being called upon now for a major desert cleanup this Saturday morning in Pahrump. It's happening on the south side of town. We have more info in this report from Mikey Ruhan.
Volunteers are being called out for a major desert cleanup this Saturday morning in Pahrump. The area, referred to by organizers as the encampment of thieves, has officially been cleared for cleanup after the Bureau of Land Management completed its investigation and gave the green light. The effort will take place from 8 to 9 a.m. Saturday, March 7th, in the desert area off Game Bird Road and Wood Chips. Pink ribbon markers have been placed to help volunteers find the site, and coordinates have also been provided by organizers. Anyone needing a ride is asked to meet at the corner of Game Bird and Wood Chips by 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning. Organizers say this will be a team effort to remove debris and restore the area, and they're encouraging the community to spread the word and show up ready to help. Pahrump Valley Disposal is donating a dumpster for the cleanup, helping ensure everything collected will be properly removed. Volunteers are encouraged to bring gloves, water, and be ready to work.
Coming up, our week-long coverage of the Nye County Republican Lincoln Day dinner is happening right after this.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. We're continuing our coverage of the Nye County Republican Committee Lincoln Day dinner held last Saturday night at the Nugget in Pahrump. Well, I had a very insightful interview with Judge Michelle Fiore as she hits the campaign trail with the intent of being reelected for Justice of the Peace in Pahrump. Now, you passion about getting the truth out and your story out.
Yes.
And you're in the midst of doing that. Tell us about that.
Well, that's a long story,
Okay.
but what I will tell you is we're going to be starting a YouTube channel with your station. I'm actually going in there on Monday because to unpack that, to talk about the judge, the jury, the DOJ, the FBI, it's going to be more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but I will tell you, never ever did I ever do anything that they've ever accused me of. We have all the receipts, and President Trump's attorneys and my attorney, my partner attorney, Christina Wilderveld, we had to prove that. So I want the people to know my story and know what really happened. And here's the thing, with my history here in Nevada as an elected official, as the Republican National Committee woman, as an assemblywoman, as the mayor pro tem.
In Las Vegas.
And the Republican National Committee woman statewide.
Okay, right.
The whole state.
But you did a lot of work in Las Vegas.
A lot of work. And and also 20 years in Pahrump with Frontsight. All my firearms training, my edge weapons training, that's here in Pahrump. So a lot of time here. So very proud of that, and just very proud of being here in Pahrump since 2022 full time.
So let's get back to all these charges and why folks they weren't able to see evidence and
well, they
what
struck
happened?
my whole defense. They struck our whole defense. So you have the DOJ and the FBI lying to the jury. Then you have the jury. So as a judge, when we have a jury pool and the judge asks the jury, hey, do you guys know Michelle Fiore? And 98% of the jury says, yes, we do. And then 100% said, yes, we've seen the media. that jury needs to be changed. But no, our judge, Obama-appointed judge, kept that jury. And this is a whole segment in the YouTube, whole segment.
Right.
So we're going to be talking about the judge, where she came from, how she got the position, the jury, the FBI, the DOJ, all their lies, tainted witnesses, unheard evidence, everything.
Okay, so let's move away from that. And here in Pahrump on the bench, how do you plan to work in your courtroom? And you can tell us how you have been in the past, but how do you plan to judge?
The same way I did before. I'm extremely fair. I'm prepared. So besides being fair, I'm extremely prepared. You have to make this number in your head. The time I sat on that bench, I've heard and we adjudicated over 24,000 cases, okay? So I'm extremely experienced.
Okay. Michelle, how can we learn more about you? You have any events coming up?
Yes. March 11th, I'll be at the Senior Center from 10:30 to noon, doing lunch with our seniors. And then March 24th, we will be at Artesian Cellars from 5 to 7. Please come have wine and spaghetti with me.
That sounds good. Thank you so much, Michelle, for being on News 25. We'll see more of you on the TV station, right?
You will.
All right, thank you.
Looking forward to it.
I'd like to invite Judge Michelle Fiore. Judge.
Thank you so much, you guys. Give Leo a great round of applause and fill the room. A little history on myself. I've been here for 35 years. I have 2 kids, 8 grandkids. I was your former Republican National Committee woman, your Assembly woman, your Second Amendment woman, and your woman that'll never stop fighting for you. Thank you so much.
I just want to briefly, just want to give you a little something. You wanted to help and you sponsored us early on. And appreciation for your leadership and patriotism service. Beautiful award from the party and from the Armed Forces Chamber.
All right, coming up in sports, the Vegas Golden Knights are riding a 3-game losing streak. They're in action as we speak, and Mikey Ruhan has that and more.
It is time for your News 25 look at sports. Good evening, I'm Mike Ruhan. The Buffalo Sabres won their 4th straight game Tuesday night, skating past the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2. That's 4 in a row for Buffalo. Meanwhile, the Golden Knights don't get much time to sulk. They're back in action tonight in Detroit, taking on the Red Wings, because nothing cures a tough loss like a flight to Michigan in February. That game is in progress. The Vegas Golden Knights also made their first move of deadline week, acquiring winger Cole Smith from the Nashville Predators on Tuesday. The Knights are sending their 3rd-round draft pick in 2028 and a defenseman in return. The A's are throwing a party. The Athletics will host a big fan fest for the Las Vegas community before kicking off Big League Weekend on Saturday. The Big League Weekend Bash runs from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at downtown Summerlin. Fans can enjoy appearances from the A's cast and alumni, a live DJ, photo booths, a speed pitch experience, plus face painters and balloon artists. ESPN Las Vegas will broadcast live from downtown Summerlin as well. On senior night at the Thomas & Mack Center, the UNLV Runnin' Rebels didn't just make a statement, they wrote it in all caps. UNLV stunned the top-ranked Utah State Aggies 92-65. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Thank you, Mikey. Josh is up again with a quick tutorial computer tip. And of course, your weather forecast. You're watching News 25.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back to News 25. I'm Chris Palermo. Josh Osborne from Great Computer Deals is here again. Another quick tutorial. It's the game show edition.
Hey guys, Josh Osborne here with Pahrump Zone Great Computer Deals, and it's time for another special edition episode of Quick Tutorial Game Show Edition. This is our 5th and final episode. So if you're unfamiliar with how this works, every single episode, we ask you guys a true or false question to play at home. And every one of these questions is discussing a topic that we've already discussed on a previous episode of Quick Tutorial. So we were basically testing you guys to make sure that you're paying attention. You guys ready to play at home for our last episode? Let's do it. Question number 5, true or false? The number one issue that we deal with in our computer store, Great Computer Deals, is forgotten passwords. True or false? Correct answer is true. By far, over scams and bad hard drives and viruses is people that don't properly manage your passwords. Guys, it is 2025. In this day and age, you have to treat your passwords with the same intensity that you treat a credit card number or a social security number. When this is a password for your bank or your business's email account, it's not something you can just lock up in your head. So do yourself a favor, either get yourself a password book, or if you have a smartphone, download one of those password management apps so you always have everything listed out. And every single time that you create a new account, without fail, in that moment, open up that book, open up that app, and put in what website it's for, what the username is, and what the password is. And I guarantee you that extra 30 seconds that you spent will come in handy. Because yes, the number one thing that we see in this store, and the biggest problem of all, is people that have forgotten their passwords. Don't be one of those. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this series of the Quick Tutorial Game Show Edition. If you really like it, let us know. We're going to do more of these kind of videos in the future if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys as always for watching this episode, and we will catch you on the next video.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
It's the Lerner and Rowe Weather Cam. We're looking out from the KPVM TV studios here in Pahrump. We've got some of those wispy clouds, and the National Weather Service is saying there will be a wind advisory in effect through the early morning hours. What else is in our forecast? We have that coming up.
Weather is sponsored by the Nevada Dairy Farmers and the Dairy Council of Nevada, sharing the love of all things dairy. Celebrate the best moments with milk. Milk the moment. And the weather is also brought to you by the Ponderosa Dairy, Nevada's largest dairy, fresh from our farm to your table.
Welcome back to News 25. Chris Palermo, and it's your weather forecast from the Anchor Desk. Fernley hit 58 today. Fallon was at 62. Carson City 58. Tonopah 61. They're going out at 27 tonight. Goldfield is mining 62. They're at 29 tonight. Beatty is not 80. It was 70 degrees today. Hermosa 75. We're creeping up there. Las Vegas 75 degrees today. Right here 53 degrees tonight. Death Valley, oh boy, 85. I like that. 54 tonight for a low. Your current temperatures. Now, we saw some of those clouds, keeping it a little cooler. 70 currently, and your sun rose 6:09 this morning, 17% humidity. Your winds, you're going to see, are picking up south-southeasterly direction, 9 miles an hour today. We had a high temperature, 73. And your temperature, like I said, right now is 70 degrees. Your sun setting in just a couple minutes here, 5:41, 36% humidity. Winds tonight picking up northeasterly direction of 15 miles per hour, and your low still mild, 46 degrees. And your forecast is going to go a little something like this Thursday. There it is. The wind will be whistling, 63 and sunny. Friday, 61. We've got that wind continuing. Saturday, 67. Sunday, sunny and 75. Monday, sunny and 75. Tuesday, all right, the same thing. Wednesday, look at that, next week at this time, 77, sunny, well, pretty much seasonable. Your lows, the mid-40s. Now for Saturday, we were telling you about Clean Up Pahrump, down off of a game bird down in Pahrump. They'll be cleaning up and asking folks to meet down there. Of course, you can, if you'd like to repeat that report, go to our Facebook page. Now, a very important detail, you will want to bring that sunscreen because the angle of the sun, once we hit March, is a lot different these days. That'll just about do it for all of us here tonight. Chris Palermo, News 25. Make it a great night.